A $10 super thanks from Tony. Keep up the good work, Tom. Go Cowboys. Thanks. I appreciate that, Tony. Thank you very much, my friend. That one and some others we'll get to in a second came in via super thanks. It is a feature here on YouTube that allows you to edit a message. Send it. It's like a super chat, but you don't have to be live for it. Just a normal comment you can do. Click that little heart with the $sign icon if you're watching on demand and not live right now. This is obviously part of a live mailbag. But any message you send in, we'll give you some love. As long as you don't commit an ism, we'll show you some love because we appreciate your support here at the Cowboys Report. Mighty Ants 0215. Had to ask you, can you flip Kentucky's Deone Walker to O-line if he moves that well? I know it's going to be challenging, but hey, it's actually kind of a unique question and a clever one too. Walker did play offensive line in high school, and there were colleges that wanted to play offensive line, not defensive line. He wanted to be a defensive lineman. I think that's a big factor in this. Also, 3-4 years later, it's really hard to find examples of that severe of a position change, especially a guy to be spending a top 75 pick on. The closest example I can think of is Cowboys legend Jerron Jones was a Notre Dame defensive lineman, undrafted free agent. Giants made him into a tackle, and he's carved out a UFL career. That's not a good return on your investment, though, if you spend a top 75 pick on a defensive lineman. So I'm keeping him at DT and trying to get that pad level lower. Eric Ramsey, once I heard brought to you by CJ. You'll see CJ in a minute, by the way. Had to give a super thanks. If you're the GM of the Cowboys, you had to choose one. Who'd you trade for? Cooper Kupp or DK Metcalf? I like this question. It's a tough one for me. I think what they do on the field overall, I think DK Metcalf brings you more. He's more athletic, brings you more vertical speed. I think from that element, he fits what the Cowboys need. If the Cowboys were going to do some more tight splits on offense and try to be a more, run the ball when teams dare us to team, I do think Cooper Kupp actually fits that pretty well. Both guys are expensive. Kupp's due, depending on how much the Rams eat, $12.5 to $20 million. Metcalf's due like 18 or 17, something like that. He's also probably going to want a new contract. So I think balancing all of that, I think DK's the better player right now. I think from an ability to get them on your team right now, Cooper Kupp's more feasible from a likelihood and from a cost perspective. That doesn't really answer the question, though. If you could have one of these guys on your team right now, who would it be? Which I think I prefer DK of the two, but I think Kupp's a lot more feasible. CK for Cooper Kupp, DK for DK Metcalf. Go vote the pinned comment of today's show. So if the ad comes here on YouTube. CJ DeYoung, I told you he'd be here. I'm not a liar. This is in reference to Jerry Jones' comments. He's delusional, Tom. It's 30 freaking years, Jerry. Wake up. You're an idiot as a GM. Thank you. And more Jerry hate here from my guy CJ. My only hope is that I outlive Jerry and Steven. Maybe a grandkid can do better. Thanks. John Stevens Jones was one of Steven's kids. He's in the sales department right now for the Cowboys. And I'm pretty sure is the one who tried to advocate in favor of Caleb Johnson over CeeDee Lamb in that draft. So, Charlotte, save us. All right, Joe, Luther Burden or Tyler Warren? This is another good question. I like this one. Independent of position, I think Tyler Warren is a better football player than Luther Burden, but you can have the conversation about, do you need a number 2 receiver or do you need a number 2 playmaker? That would advocate more on the Tyler Warren side. The other angle is tight ends often take a bit longer to develop. So I think I'm always a big deal. I got to take the best player available, right? I would love Luther Burden. Warren's higher on my board. Got to go that one. We don't wife these 304s. Imagine having 800,000 tweets. Generational day on X. I don't have 800. How many tweets do I have? I don't have that many. There's no way I have that many. I don't know how many tweets I have. Who's got 800,000 tweets? Someone's doing something silly, I bet. I appreciate it, though, my friend. Eric, back to you again for another super thanks. Another would you rather question that I really liked. Would you get Hampton from UNC or Kaleb Johnson from Iowa? I would personally like it if we got Hampton. My mindset is yes. If you can give me one of those guys in the second round, I would not be upset. There are some similarities in their game. They're not built that different. Hampton's like 6 foot 219, and I think Kaleb Johnson has like 6 pounds on him, if that. I think that Hampton might have a little bit better size speed combination, but it's not by a lot. Neither guy is a super elite burner. I think both guys could be 1,000-yard players in the NFL. I would be happy with either of those guys in round 2. I think Hampton is a better runner right now, but both those guys would be great picks in the second. So who would you rather have? OH for Omarion Hampton, KJ for Kaleb Johnson. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Gizmo2703. Here's a question. Will we be live the first day of the draft? If so, will we be live all day long? We will be live for the NFL draft. So again, just make sure you guys are subscribed. Simple, easy. We will be live at various points throughout all 3 days of the NFL draft. We'll have some simulcast with me over on the main chat sports stream as well, I presume. But we will have live coverage for you. I promise you. From Joe, where was Caelen Carson after like week 8? Was he hurt? Yeah, he was hurt. Now, I will say, I think part of that injury was he's not playing well, so let's just put him on the sideline and not, have to play him. They didn't think he was fully ready. I think had some confidence issues too, frankly. So he was banged up. They liked him lock him out of Wake Forest. He's a day 3 pick. Played like a day 3 pick where he was drafted on what they thought he could be. So it's going to be a kind of a wash year in the end for Carson. Now, today's show is made possible by Tushy, the modern bidet attachment that instantly transforms your bathroom habits and butt health for life. Instead of wiping yourself raw with toilet paper, Tushy gently removes 99% of bacteria while protecting your natural skin barrier thanks to one natural ingredient. It's fresh water. They have 2 ultra-sleek bidets, Wave and Oasis, with front and rear wash to clean all those hard-to-reach places. The Tushy Wave and Oasis bidets easily attach to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing or electricity. They also have a quick release button to remove the seat for instant deep cleaning. It is easy to use and takes about 10 minutes to complete, by the way, in terms of the installation. Your time on the throne may vary in terms of the length. Sit down, do your business, turn the knob for a refreshing stream of clean water, and once you're done, simply pat dry with TP. People who have made the switch to Tushy use up to 80% less TP. There's no clogged toilets, and they save your money and your rear end at the same time. There's still time to get your ass right for life. For a limited time, you guys get 10% off your first bidet order when you use code CHAT at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com/chat with promo code CHAT. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. A $5 super chat from Nick Morissette. Looking at how defensive end, how much for Golston and Lawson, giving us our 4 base guys. What's a name in 5, rotation piece. D-Law's not coming back. Last year is soft. I don't think he's soft, actually. I think that was a pretty bad foot injury. But the injuries are a real concern for him, so that's fine. I think Lawson's going to be very cheap. I think that might be like $1 or $2 million, maybe up to 3 with incentives. I don't think he'd be very expensive. Golston is probably a bit more so because he's younger. But I think if you were to run it back with Micah and Golston and Lawson and Sam Williams and Marshawn Nealon, I don't know if you need somebody else then. That's probably fine at defensive end, and you're probably got enough depth to get you through the season too. Max Finnegan, what are the odds the Cowboys sign Tyron Smith? He is old and cheap. I wonder if this is just going to be a retirement time for Tyron Smith. Like I might go with, maybe you go with like 90% he retires and signs, but it's a one-day contract to retire as a Dallas Cowboy. That might be the more likely outcome. He's already said he's considering retiring, calling it a career. He was banged up again last year, and he played fine when he was out there, but the injuries were, again, a pretty severe issue there. So I would not be surprised if he does sign, but it's a one-day contract to retire. It's a clever name, though, if he's willing to be cheap. And at Tyron Smith's age, being cheap might not be worth it for him. Now, if you want more Cowboys mailbags, hit that sub button. Free Cowboys videos each and every single day right here on the channel, youtube.com/@CowboysTV. From Bryce, if Davante Adams is cut, which do you prefer? Of Adams, Kupp, Diggs, Amari draft? I think the best receiver there is Davante Adams. He doesn't cost me draft capital. He's healthy. He's still impactful. He also might be the most expensive of that bunch. I'm just going to leave draft off of it because it's a totally different conversation for me. I might put them in the order you have them in. I'll say this. If Kupp is cut, with the likely being cheaper by a big margin over Davante Adams, that could vault him above like the 2-3 spot with Diggs. William Cook, would Jerry sell a percentage to private equity like the Eagles to build a Super Bowl team? It's a great question. I'm actually glad we got one of these. I didn't know if we were ever going to. What William's referring to is NFL teams are doing this now. They are now allowed to sell franchises a bit more frequently to like private equity groups and other minority owners. And what that does for them, instant influx of cash. And they can spend more money because, a $10 million evaluation, or $10 billion evaluation, I should say, they're buying in 2%. That's a lot of cash instantaneously added to your ability to spend money in free agency. You almost sell a little bit to build a better team. The Cowboys would never. Jerry Jones was not acting in his landman appearance. He was dead serious about it being a family business. And you don't sell part of the family business to outsiders. From Trevor, will Kellen try to trade with Dak with the Saints? He can try. It's just not feasible. Doesn't make any financial sense for the Cowboys. Unless Dallas wants to rebuild for 2 or 3 years, eating $100 million plus of dead money isn't a very good idea. And also the Saints probably should not be that aggressive for a QB at that level because their roster is just not very good either. So in general, will the Cowboys make a trade this offseason? Why for yes and for no? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. For me to wipe these 304s, is Tet starting to slip on boards? I don't think so. I think to an extent, sometimes what we run into here is everyone does mock drafts, and they're fun. I love doing them. They're awesome. I actively don't want to do the same draft picks in a mock draft over and over again. That's boring. So, if you're not mocking Tet to the Raiders at 6, and you don't mock him to the Panthers at 8, well, then it's like the Saints. And that's kind of how you get, he's probably not going to go 4 to the Patriots. I don't think. I think there's a chance he goes there. I think if anything's happened, some of the destinations have kind of slimmed down a bit. He's not going to go top 3. Patriots are the earliest. But if the Raiders don't need a receiver, don't go that route. Jets aren't going to go receiver. I doubt the Bears. I doubt the Niners do. It kind of shrinks down your destinations. And if you have one prediction of this team signing a receiver, shrinks down even further. That's why I think that someone like a McMillan has an outside chance to fall down to the Cowboys in this upcoming draft. Dwayne Jackson, how does this safety draft class and free agents look? How would you rank them? That's a good question. Free agent-wise, there are some guys that I'm really intrigued by. Javon Holland did not have the best season that I was hoping he was going to, which makes him a bit more affordable if you want to go down that path, right? Trayvon Merrick is a guy I've always liked out of TCU. A guy I wanted in round 2 over. I thought they were going to get him and not Kelvin Joseph, but sometimes things don't go your ways. Other veterans, I don't know if Harrison Smith, Justin Reed are going to end up leaving potentially. And then it's kind of like, okay, veterans who, if you cut somebody, make some sense. Justin Simmons. Bring back old buddy Xavier Woods, probably top 5 safety at free agent. Quandre Diggs has been out there. And then draft-wise, I do like a lot of the safeties in this year's class. I don't think you're going to want to spend the premium pick it would require to get you a Malachi Starks and probably not a Nick Manwari either. But I think Kevin Winston, Andrew Makuba, Xavier Watts, Notre Dame, even how you count Sebastian Cash as a safety or a nickel. Lathan Ransom on day 3. There's some good safeties, good high-end safety talent in this year's class. Would they take him that early? Hasn't been their MO in the past, though.